Hello, this is Doc Mack, the Hormone and Weight Optimization Coach. I want to welcome you to my course on stress management. My God given purpose in life is to help women and men who are in their third acts of life be awesome. Now, what do I mean by awesome? I mean to have the body, the mind, and the soul that brings about a life that is most excellent. I have a saying: there are only two ways that you will fail while on my program. One is that you do not start, and the other is that you do not finish. There's actually a third way. It's to be derailed by stress. And that's why I've made this course. As you've learned in previous classes, I identify stress with hormones. If your stress hormones are elevated, you're stressed. The primary stress hormone is called cortisol. If cortisol is elevated or fatigued, life is not going to be optimal. That means you will not be awesome. Throughout this course, I will introduce you to tools that I use nearly every day to not only relieve my stress, but to make my day awesome. So, what is the first tool? It's actually pretty easy, but at the same time, pretty hard. I think that's a song by Three Dog Night. It's easy to be hard. Well, anyway, I'm going to give you an actual life example. Actually, I'm going to give you a couple. This happened to Vicki and I. One of them just this week. We have for several years ran a club at our local high school. It's called the Interact Club. It is sponsored by my Rotary Club. Each year we have between 30 to 50 students that become members. There are three primary expenses to keep this club running. The first is you need a teacher to lead the club. You need to give the teacher a stipend. The second is that you need to provide lunch because it's during their lunch period and you got to feed them. And the third, you got to have some social gatherings a couple times a year. We usually do it at Halloween and at the end of the school year. The budget runs around $2,000 a year. Now, we didn't ever need to go to the club to provide money for that budget because every year the students work as waiters and waitresses at our annual crab feed. They would usually make the entire year's budget in that one night, if not more. Well, can you feel it coming? For some unknown reason, the club, my Rotary Club, that sponsors this Interact Club, you see, every club is encouraged to sponsor an Interact Club. Ours wins first prize every year for the entire district. And again, it's sponsored by my Rotary Club. Well, they decided that the girls' basketball team should be the waiters and waitresses this year. Now, the crab feed is in November, and Vicki and I front the expenses from the beginning of school year until the crab feed. Now school starts in August. Then we get reimbursed. There is no budget this year because we are not even allowed to fundraise under the school banner. But the school gets to decide what to do with the money raised. I learned that the hard way. So when I found out that the Rotary Club decided to give our budget away to the girls' basketball team a week before the event, I was furious. The sponsoring club of the Interact Club decided to give our budget to the girls' basketball team who have nothing to do with Rotary. I had two options. One, I could pour me a large glass of whiskey, light up a big cigar, and say, "C'est la vie." Or I can call up the president of the club and the board members and tell them where to shove it. I was so stressed, so angry, so disappointed. I know that my blood pressure, which usually runs 110/70, went sky high. Then I remembered a tool that I had learned about a decade before. See, it happened with my personal trainer. I'll share that story with you. I've been working out with my personal trainer for months. I went to him to develop a stronger core. It didn't seem to be working. Now, I must admit, I wasn't doing everything he wanted me to do, but I thought I was doing enough. I told him one day, I'm not getting the results I wanted. I told him with attitude. I was angry, not so much at him, but my lack of accomplishment. I was fearful that I was incapable of having a better core, and that something must be wrong with me. But I was pointing my finger at him. I mean, that was his job. And this is what he told me. It's your responsibility, not mine. What? I screamed in my head. I went home and I was snide with Vicky. She looked at me with a face that said, "What's wrong with you?" I then said to myself, she didn't do anything. I'm the one responsible. Aha! See, I stayed the course utilizing my trainer's knowledge. I eventually developed the core I wanted. I discovered that whenever I'm angry, fearful, or blaming others, when I'm stressed, I just have to say to myself, I'm responsible. I have stopped arguments before they started, been more courageous in fearful situations, and crossed more finish lines than ever with those words. I am responsible. So I sat down and I made a list of how I was responsible for this mess. You see, I have been the Rotary liaison to this Interact Club for nearly 10 years. Every year, no one in the club took interest in this club. I just kind of ran it on an island. So, here's my list. I assumed that the Interact Club's members would be the waiters and waitresses for the crab feed, and we would make our year's budget. Now, we all know what assume means. It means to make an ass out of you and me. I had not contacted anyone to assure my assumption. I had not gone to the board and explained the details that go along with running an Interact Club. If I would have gone to the first board meeting and did all of this, I'm sure that none of this would have happened. So whenever you're stressed, say, I am responsible. You probably are in some small way, or even in a large way. And it works every time. It really does. So, again, whenever stressed, whenever angry, whenever fearful, say, I am responsible. Sit down and let those things come to you that do make you responsible. And you will see that your stress dissipates. So, I am responsible. Love, Doc.